which is probably news to all the countries over there that allow us to have dozens of European military bases in their territory. It's yet another sign that the U.S. cannot be trusted as a military diplomatic partner, and more countries need to mind their own back and no longer rely on it. Except here, not rely on it. And they had that emergency meeting. Ding, ding, ding. Uh-oh. Yeah, anyways, if you're watching this, there is a good chance you made it. Leaving a state quickly share with the service at the end of it. Quickly coming up in your book. So, if not true, the next story is for you. Here's the New York Times. President Trump, Yuri, has delayed his lifting two nuclear force one deaths. How Elon Musk to explore traffic across by the new capacity, including security clean standards for some resulting in the plane. Two heavily modified 2747. Change the fly years old. So this company was one infuriated that he began to fly aviation planes that was for President George H.W. And I told her that it's going to be like do it. Depending on how expensive the pullback will be when they were through this problem. The cost of speeding the production schedule for new planes could be a compromise for the state for the nation's security is not managed with extreme care. While an executive argues that there is a safe way to do this, however, there is able for certain kinds of workers to not European incentives. And those executives are the exact type of people that I can listen to right now when I think about their problems with daily. Yeah, I think about that. Yeah, and you know what I think about is that they're moving fast enough. All I'm saying is fair. Well, and Elliot, you're not having the executives are agreeing. Yeah, that's not my idea. The idea is not big man, therefore it's wrong. The Air Force has already actually been going 3.5 billion set aside for the project. The Boeing is at least 3 years behind schedule and already for $2.4 billion project. It seems they don't get the first time in August itself factored in the delay, but at least while executives indicated to the government they might not be able to deliver the end. But Mr. Nutt, the company setting precedent in some cases unachievable deadlines like his company has insisted that at least one plans can be delivered within a year's time. Officials involved in the complicated event that part of things capable of evading certain missile attacks or surviving the fallout of nuclear blast. Associates, but it put the risk of flat out. You know, the big one out there. Yeah, I agree. I agree. We don't usually say this, but I'm saying it's not in this case, they're in the kitchen. Let them go. They do something with it. They've got all the questions out, and they do that. Going into it, I'm saying, I'm going to take a wild shot and then not this something that's finding.
Hi, Odin. Odin.
Yeah, he did. He didn't have to.
Meow.
He would be going with the you should definitely focus on this. On everything else we've got, there's stuff going on around the air. The islands are going to float. For example, at this point, we've got a measurably worse occupation quite long. Now it's going to take a look at the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, aka OSHA, the regulatory agency in charge of protecting workers from injury themselves or dying from job. The most literal example of written in law. Yeah, all of the agencies, everything they've done, OSHA is like, what other guy's done? Let's go back to figure out. Yeah, and it's get that people on the left, like, really getting it. We built the Golden Gate Bridge in a year. I can't do that. Like, for one day. If you look at any big project like that, look at how many people fucking died while making it, and you can do that today, where this place goes out, it's actually quite rare. I think it's safer with this place because we're looking at our state in the U.S. Yeah. and makes unprotected workers learning anything and everything, even loosely related to wokeness, DEI, or gender ideology. One of the important British government is dusted, despite not actually
Nightfall.
having anything to do with
Harvest
any of
Army
that.
Depot has reported unsettling movements.
Here's popular
We've reason to believe it's not
popular
just another
information
military
has
mishap.
contained archives
Tread
versions of
carefully,
most of the
investigate
leaders
thoroughly,
updated.
and
Almost
return
all
with
gender pronouns
answers.
associated with DEIA topics, but appear to have been targeted because they include a DEIA-related keyword used in a completely different context. Yeah, that'll happen. For example, one of the first publications is OSHA best practices for protecting EMS responders during treatment and transport of victims of hazardous substance releases. Popular Information was able to obtain an archived version of the publication through the Internet Archive. The 104-page document, a collaboration between dozens of government agencies and NGOs, was published in 2009 to detail the steps employers need to take to protect their EMS responders from becoming additional victims while on the front line of medical response. DEIA issues are not discussed. Elliot, clearly the word victim is right there. Yeah. Oh, so now people who are injured, job, or get out. Stop making yourself a victim. It continues. On page 94 of the publication, however, the words diversity and diverse are used in a context that has nothing to do with race or gender. The publication notes there is a diversity of state-specific certification, training, and regulatory requirements for EMS agencies, and diverse conditions under which EMS responders could work. Woke. Similarly, on page 96, the publication notes EMS responders are a diverse group, and risks vary with their primary and secondary roles. Guidelines for nursing homes. Ergonomics for the prevention of musculoskeletal disorders is a 44-page publication released in 2009. It provides recommendations for nursing home employers to help reduce the number and severity of work-related musculoskeletal disorders, MSDs, in their facilities. That's nothing to do with DEIA. Page 10, however, it notes that development of MSDs may be related to genetic causes, gender, age, and other factors. The single use of the word gender appears to have flagged the publication for deletion and disrupt. It's so fucking stupid. Another Purge publication, Small Entity Compliance Guide for the Respiratory Protection Standard, contains the sentence, the new computer software reflects the concept of government leadership through collaboration with diverse technical organizations. It has nothing to do with DEIA. And I have, ever since you fucking mentioned it on the last episode, I have thought about the fact that the word probation in probationary employees and the fact that he really thinks asylum seekers are coming from insane asylums, you might actually be onto something where he probably looked at it and said, why do we have all this many people on probation working in the government? Get rid of them. And that's, well, first of all, exactly, get rid of these criminals, deport them. I'm not joking anymore. I think that might be, even if it wasn't, even if like Musk was new, but like pitched it as like, oh, you see this, all these probationary employees. Yeah. You might be right. And it's just dumb enough to be true. Yeah. Anyway, this is, of course, this keyword search delete without doing any further. Find on page. It's fucking lazy, and it's part of a larger trend of important documentation in various government agencies getting deleted because they're literally just running a search for certain keywords, even though the actual context those words are used in very often has nothing to do with wokeness, DEI, or anything like that. This is another perfect glaring example of AI at work. Because there's no shot they're not using AI to do this. Yeah. And look at the results. And it's so fucking lazy because like they don't understand context. The AI doesn't understand. I don't want to tell these people how to do their evil shit, but like if it was me, I would simply double check the actual context that any of these terms are showing up in. But Elliot, you're missing the point. Is that the laziness does extra work for them in dismantling all of this shit they want to get rid of anyway. They, sometimes you do want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. That's what they're doing. The laziness is the point. Anyways, in other news, this may shock you, but despite Trump giving lip service to organized labor during his campaign, he's actually doing a bunch of stuff that's blatantly anti-labor. Oh, I know, what the fuck? Matt Bruning of the NLRB Edge blog ran down some of the new guidelines that Trump's acting general counsel just issued this week, which basically just undoes a bunch of labor guidelines from the previous administration. Pretty good ones, too. And it includes reversing a previous decision that opened up the possibility for college athletes to unionize, bringing back non-compete clauses that force workers to pay a penalty if they quit and get hired by a competitor in the industry they work in. Bringing back broad confidentiality and non-disparagement clauses in severance agreements that prevent workers from discussing the shitty conditions of their former job. Getting rid of a bunch of penalties for unfair labor practices, and of course, bringing back multiple barriers to workplace unionization that were removed during Biden's term. So, yeah, we're back. Back in business.
For all those union heads up.
Great job, Sean O'Brien.
Yeah. But let's move on to some news that won't make you feel like absolute shit. Trump's executive order effectively banning transgender people from the U.S. military very quickly resulted in a lawsuit. And this week, a federal judge presiding over that case took a DOJ lawyer to task in her courtroom quite beautifully. And let's just read some of that transcript. I'll be Judge Anna Reyes, and you'll be the DOJ attorney. Can we agree that the greatest fighting force is not going to be impacted in any way by less than 1% of the soldiers using a different pronoun than others might want to call them?
I can't agree with that here.
Would you agree with me that if our military is negatively impacted in any kind of way that matters, we all have a lot bigger problems than pronoun use? We have a military that is incompetent. Any common sense, rational human being knows that it doesn't. This pretext is frankly ridiculous. If you want to get me an officer of the U.S. military who's willing to get on the stand and say that because of pronoun usage, the U.S. military is less prepared because of pronoun usage, I'll be the first to give you a box of cigars. The order calls an entire category of people dishonest, dishonorable, undisciplined, immodest, who lack integrity, people who have taken an oath to defend this country, people who have been under fire, people who have received medals for taking fire for this country. I want to know from the government whether that language expresses animus. Does that express animus?
Not in any constitutional...
In a common sense way. This is a policy from the President of the United States affecting thousands of people. To call an entire group of people lying, dishonest people who are undisciplined, immodest, and have no integrity, how is that anything other than showing animus?
I don't have an answer for you.
You do have an answer, you just don't want to give it. People can make solid arguments as to why some, or even most transgender people shouldn't be in the military. We're dealing with unadulterated animus. We are dealing with the President of the United States, dealing with a group of people serving their country, calling them liars.
And then this is my favorite part. Reyes then said she changed her courtroom orders to bar people who graduated from UVA Law School from appearing before her because they're all liars and lack integrity and are undisciplined and can't possibly meet the high rigors of being a lawyer for the government. She made the DOJ lawyer sit down on that basis. Then after he did, she called him back up and asked whether that was a display of animus.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Doesn't feel so good, does it? What I just did there, so you're doing to trans people.
Yeah,
it sucks, right? Fuck off.
Yeah, because when you're fucking doing all this shit, it's this blob of other that you're not even thinking about. You're just being mean because you think it's funny or that whatever you think the president, the instructions were, it's just dumb, heartless. No empathy. Dick move.
Well, it's literally...
the adults that are meant to be like, hey, you're being a fucking dick. This is stupid. Why are you being mean for no reason?
Well, this trans ban and just like everything with like Pete Hegseth and the military, it's all based on this fucking idiotic like idea that we're still a mainly infantry-based military. The year is still 1940.
Yeah, we need gigantic blunts out in all.
Yeah, we need big tough boys, and it's like, no, we fight with fucking robots and jets now. Like, the most important people in the military, regardless of how you feel about it, are fucking drone operators. People who set the fucking computer and with an Xbox controller.
This is the ideal male form. If you don't like it, that's your problem, Pete.
Yeah, the ideal male form, the ideal female form, the ideal any gender form.
If you look like you can survive a car crash, you can definitely drive a drone.
But like the point is, like, it's military. It's a lot of IT. It's a lot of dorky shit. And
even if it fucking wasn't this, it's like this is so.
Even if it isn't, like that's what
specific.
That's what makes this like especially stupid. It's like they think like being military means like being one of the smartest in 300. And it's like, no, that's first of all, that's stupid. They all know it. But secondly, it's just not how war is fought. I'm sorry. It's not about like having a bunch of tough guys. Like the North Koreans, they're real tough fighting over in Ukraine, and they've been dying at like insane rates because they literally just run straight into the battlefield and get mowed down. I think it's better to be a little more strategic, a little more cerebral about how you fight wars. Again, you're gonna fight them.
Again, it's one of those things that's like, the point isn't to make the military better, it's to make trans people feel worse.
I mean, that's the primary thing, but I do think some of these idiots genuinely think of war and military in this really childish fucking way, where, because they're, not just trans people, it's also like women.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, yeah, I guess if you think of war, like, as the way it was fought 100 years ago, I could understand why you would think that women have no place in it, but you're wrong on many fronts. And yeah, you're also just being cruel for the sake of it.
Yeah. And we do have a lot more to cover today, but let's take a quick second, take a break, talk about sponsors. This episode is sponsored by Shopify. Nobody has sounded better than Shopify. It's home of the #1 checkout on the planet and the not-so-secret shop page, which boosts conversions up to 50%, which means way less carts being abandoned and way more sales for your business. When you think about businesses that are selling to the roof, like Aloe, Allbirds, sure, you think about the product, great brand, good marketing, but an often overlooked secret is actually the business behind the business making selling and shopping and buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify.
So if you're into growing your business, e-commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are, scrolling or scrolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify.
I've already said it before, I'll say it again. Big music consumer. Love getting the records in the mail. No idea what I ordered 6 months ago. Boom! Hey, where's that thing? Shopify's got it right there.
That's all tracked right there.
Anyways, yeah, it really helps my old man brain because I can't remember all this stuff. So it's great to have everything tracked really fast. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout experiences all those retailers. Sign up for your $1 discount product at Shopify.com.
I'd call that a bargain.